96.7 KCAL rocks. It's Monday, and that means time for some sports with our guy Pep. And some stuff happened this weekend. What's going down, Pep?
Hey guys, let's do this. We will go over the weekend, big NFL Sunday, but also a big game tonight across the NFL landscape because on Monday Night Football, we have the Rams and we have the 49ers. And this is an important game for the Rams now because we'll talk about some of the other games that happened on Sunday. But right now, the Rams are right back in the thick of things in terms of winning division title, maybe being the number one team in the NFC. All that could be on the line with another huge game against San Francisco tonight with OBJ and without Robert Woods, who tore his ACL on Friday.
Yeah, so that kind of worked out for OBJ.
I mean, do the 49ers have a chance tonight? That is the big question.
It feels like they don't, but I mean, will they? You know?
I know Pep is a 49er fan, so there is a little bit of bias there.
Yeah, you know what? I still feel like the 49ers still have a little something left, right? Especially if you're playing the Rams and if you're a 49er fan, you're like, please, anybody but the Rams. Don't let the Rams win. Don't let the Rams beat us. Don't let the Rams win the division. Like, you just don't want the Rams, right? So I think the 49ers will give the Rams their best game. But I'm just curious to see what the Rams offense looks like with Odell Beckham Jr. at receiver. And without Robert Woods, will it be better? Will it be the same? Will they need some time to, all get on the same page? I'm just curious to see what that's going to look like tonight.
It seems like it may take a little bit of time.
There was a lot of cool talk over the weekend, too, that came out from the free agency frenzy, I guess, that was there with Odell Beckham Jr. and teams like Green Bay who offered him a minimum contract. And then hearing about how all it really took was for one player to get OBJ on FaceTime in the Rams team meeting rooms. And he walked over. It was Jalen Ramsey got him on FaceTime. Then he walked over to the receiver room and literally was like, hey, you guys good if we bring in Odell? And they were all like, yeah. Cool. So that's really all it took.
It's all it took. And when you saw the weather in Green Bay and the weather in LA, you're like, maybe OBJ made a good decision.
And they're saying that they believe Odell Beckham plans on making the Rams his long-term future. So this isn't like a one-and-done, rental for the Rams.
Okay, so he better show out then.
Okay, so a couple things on that. So it's nice to be wanted, right? You want to go somewhere where they want you. And hopefully, OBJ wants to be there for a long time, but hopefully the Rams want him as well, right? It's a two-way road, and hopefully he performs well and things work out well. He's been a little toxic, right? In some places. So we'll see if this is a good marriage, and if it is, then yeah, can you imagine Cooper Kupp and OBJ and Robert Woods will come back at some point? If the Rams can get like a legit running back, this Rams offense will be even better. But it's already great. It could be even better going into the future.
That's the beauty. We get to just watch it, and it'll work itself out.
And, on Friday, I will admit, I was in the camp that this was a very bad move for Odell Beckham to pull when Deshaun Jackson had just left town because he wasn't getting enough targets. And with how great the Rams receivers have been, and then all of a sudden Woods goes down, and now there's a glaring need for somebody like Odell Beckham.
Right. So, there you go. At least the ball will be going to him more. I feel like he still has something left. I think he's a superstar on the inside like Woods was. He was the master of that. Trust me, he killed the Seahawks doing that over and over and over and over again. But also, I think OBJ can get over the top and do the bomb, which obviously Stafford can get to him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he probably has a chip on his shoulder too, right? Like I'm excited to see what he's going to do. He's got a chip on his shoulder, something to prove. And when I think OBJ, man, I think about his early years making those like incredible one-handed catches. Like he was the guy. Like you'd see kids out on the playground, or in the schoolyard trying to make these crazy one-handed catches, and it was really because of OBJ. Like he was that good.
I know. I'm like, Kyle, my son, just catch it with two hands. Stop all that OBJ crap. Catch it when you need to,
Odell Beckham's biggest problem has always been between the ears.
Yeah.
As long as he can get that right, as long as he can, act right, not fight punting nets on the sideline, all that stuff, he should be okay.
I feel like McVay is young and he's got a little puppet master in him. I think he is smart and can outsmart OBJ and make him think he's happy.
I think LA might get the better of Mr. OBJ.
That is always possible. It's always possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a big one tonight. Well, hopefully we'll see him make his debut, 49ers and the Rams, Monday Night Football. It's already a big rivalry game. Go ahead, 40.
Still no Von Miller, right?
We have not heard Von Miller. Yeah, he's got that, I think it's an ankle injury. We did not see him last week. We might not see him again tonight, so still maybe on hold for that Von Miller debut. But it's a big game for the Rams because it's a rivalry game, but also Hey, Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers beat the Arizona Cardinals now, so the Cardinals came back to earth a little bit on Sunday as Cam Newton scored a couple touchdowns to lead Carolina to a 34-10 win. So if you're a Rams fan, that was huge to have Carolina beat Arizona.
As Cam said, he's back.
Yeah, everybody was kind of pointing to next week being Cam's big debut. 2 touchdowns later, he was in this game.
Okay, yeah, and leading the huddle and all that. He wasn't even playing full-time quarterback. He's leading the huddle, telling the team what to do. Fits right back in.
Yeah, he's right back. I don't know if physically he's the same guy, but he's the same leader, right? He's right back in there, back in that same uniform. They're winning football games. It kind of looks like the old Carolina Panthers again.
Oh, yeah, old Cam, he ran one in the end zone, threw one in the end zone. It's like, okay.
All right, Patrick, I buried the score, but since we're talking NFC football, the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers returned. For Seattle, we had Russell Wilson come back. But that Green Bay defense was really the story in this game as Green Bay tossed the shutout against Seattle 17-0. So the Rams are putting Seattle farther in the rearview mirror, and Green Bay is making a case as maybe they're the number one team in the NFC.
Yeah, I don't know because they finally did score towards the end, but that was no scoring for the majority of the game. The Packers didn't look that great either. They finally did break through, obviously, but then Aaron Jones blew his knee out. So I think the Packers could be in trouble, actually.
That game was kind of the sports equivalent of a Kiss concert. Lots of hype with no payoff.
Yeah, rusty quarterbacks. Russell's throws were off. DK's getting ejected, acting like a moron.
Yeah, that was the game, right? Like the quarterbacks were coming back. There was snow in the forecast. It was Green Bay. Like it was just lined up to be this huge matchup. And then it just kind of, was a dud. But Green Bay found a way to win. And congrats to our guy, Kenny Clark, the pride of Carter High School. And that defense doing a good job on Russell Wilson, who, I guess he's 100%, but he sure didn't look like the old Russell Wilson at quarterback.
No, his throws were off.
Even Aaron Rodgers didn't look great, but I think even a not great Aaron Rodgers is better than a Jordan Love.
Yes.
This is what we saw.
Yes. True. That is very, very true. Guys, to the AFC, hey, Minnesota Vikings came to Southern California. Cam Bynum from Centennial High School got a sack on Justin Herbert. The Vikings beat the Chargers 27-20. And when you look at the whole, landscape of the AFC West, the Chiefs looked like the old Chiefs and hammering the Raiders. And then the Eagles, 40, they beat the Broncos. So in the span of like a week or two, all of a sudden Kansas City went from like the doormat in the AFC West to the first place team in the AFC West. And they look really good. Could the Chiefs be back?
Well, I think it goes to show you about quarterback play. I mean, Patrick Mahomes woke up, thus the Chiefs wake up.
They're on a 3-game win streak. It hasn't exactly been pretty, but now they are atop the AFC West.
Not how you start, it's how you finish, right, boys?
Yeah, we've been talking about this, waiting for Kansas City to, flip that switch, as they would say, right, and kind of get back to their old ways. Maybe that was the game as they were able to beat the Raiders 41-14 in a big Sunday night football game. And again, the Eagles beat the Broncos. Chargers lose at home. They're sputtering right now. They lose at home to Minnesota, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, the Chiefs are kind of back where they belong, like on top of the division, scoring a lot of points, and now all of a sudden they're a scary team, right, to face in the playoffs if they can keep this up.
I mean, the Broncos got a lot of hype coming out 3-0, but we saw that the teams they beat in that stretch were 0-9. So the Broncos have kind of been paper champions this whole time. The Raiders have had way too many issues at this point in the season. I think they're pretty much kind of done. It's going to be if the Chargers they were off to a hot start. Can they get that back going and challenge the Chiefs? They're only 1 game behind.
No, they're due to play well.
Yeah. And 40, you bring up a great point because there's only about 1 game that separates all 4 of these teams. So there's still a lot of football to be played. It's still a log jam. It's still anyone's division. It was just scary to see Kansas City kind of return to form last night. It's like, okay, they didn't just squeeze out like a 17-14 win. They put 41 on the Raiders. Maybe they're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's if you're a Kansas City fan. Hey, one other quick NFL score. We had a tie. The Lions are still winless, right? Detroit has still not won a game this year, but they didn't lose yesterday as they tied Pittsburgh 16-16 in overtime. Gotta love the tie, I guess.
You can't be the first team to ever go 0-17 if you get a tie.
That is true, but also, kids, You can tie in the NFL. Najee Harris, the running back for the Steelers, was baffled. Didn't
Yeah.
even know that you can tie.
Yeah.
You can tie. So
That's
make sure
dumb.
you're paying attention.
Donovan McNabb didn't know it back in the day when the Eagles had a tie one time too. It's not a good look. Even if you didn't know it, do not admit that.
Right. I mean, I know you're always thinking about the win, and we hate ties, but don't let it happen.
It's like a tie doesn't exist. Like Detroit is still winless. They still have not won a game this year. They didn't lose, but they still haven't won a game. It's like the game didn't even happen. Like it just doesn't exist right now. But yeah, 16-16. What a weird score with Big Ben out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And guys, real quick, college football. It's USC versus UCLA week. It's always a big week in Southern California. We've got Inland Empire guys on both sides of the football at both schools. And it should be a good one. They both have a lot of pride and maybe some, postseason bowl game potential here.
Will all the players be back and all that stuff after the rescheduling and all that of last week? I believe so.
Yeah, hopefully they will. Hopefully, we want to see this full strength, right? We want to see both teams at their best.
Where's that game going down? Rose Bowl or Coliseum?
That's the Coliseum.
Coliseum.
All right, a good little, the good old Battle of LA. Hey, Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
Check it out, Inland Sports. I know you're hanging out on Twitter anyways. Go to Inland Sports. We're on the gram. We're on Facebook. You can check out the Inland Sports YouTube channel as well, talking local sports in the IE.
Thanks, Pep.